Effective immediately. My name's Randy, and I'm 47 years old. For the past 15 years, I've been leading client relations at Bermali Bowworks. And Jessica, the new director, said those words in front of my whole team. I just nodded and kept my hands resting calmly on the conference table.
Hope the client presentation on Friday goes well, I said.
The room fell silent. My team folks I'd hired, trained, and watched evolve from junior associates into department leads stared down at the table. Jessica's eyes narrowed. She was 32, had an MBA from some prestigious university, and was hired 3 months earlier to modernize operations. She'd never stepped foot in the biotech world before. "What do you mean?" she asked. I smiled. "You'll figure it out." I headed back to my office and began packing. 23 years of work now going into just 2 cardboard boxes. Pictures from product launches, plaques from satisfied clients, and a coffee mug from my daughter that read "World's Best Dad." Jessica lingered in the doorway, clearly wanting to speak, but not sure what to say. "Randy, about the Hologate account?" "Not my concern anymore," I replied, sealing up the first box. That was the last, she said. One by one, my team came by. They didn't say much, just quiet handshakes and promises to stay in touch. Beth, my senior analyst, stood the longest. "This isn't right," she whispered. "It's business," I answered, but we both knew the truth. This wasn't just business. I had seen this coming for a while. Since Jessica's arrival, she'd been slowly cutting me out, to organizing meetings without me, second-guessing my decisions in front of clients. Just last week, she told upper management my methods were outdated and holding the company back. What she didn't realize was that I'd been documenting everything, every slight, every attempt to undermine me. I was ready for the worst because 15 years of handling million-dollar clients teaches you to prepare for anything. I loaded up my truck and drove home. Helen, my wife, was waiting with coffee in hand and a look that told me she already knew. "How bad?" she asked. "Could be worse," I said. But staring at those boxes in the kitchen, I felt something I hadn't in years. Not anger, not sadness, something sharper. Jessica had made a serious error when she wouldn't fully grasp. Until Friday morning when Hologate Systems called looking for their presentation, the one only I could deliver. I'd joined Bermali straight out of college. Back then, it was a small company with big dreams and even bigger problems. William Bermali, the founder, gave me a shot despite my lack of experience, but saw potential. I spent 5 years learning every corner of the business labs, regulations, client needs. By 30, I was running client relations. By 35, I was the guy biotech firms turned to when they needed results fast and done right. During the 2008 crash, I was the reason Bermali stayed afloat. Clients stuck with us because they trusted me. Helen knew what came with the job: late night calls, weekend travel, missed dinners. She raised our daughter Casey while I built something that put food on the table and employed over 60 people. But when William retired 2 years ago, everything changed. His son Marcus became CEO, started bringing in outside consultants who spoke in jargon and viewed people as numbers. Jessica was one of them, selling Marcus on a new client engagement strategy. From day one, she showed up to meetings unprepared and would interrupt with suggestions that didn't fit. She rearranged my files without telling me. Worse, she scheduled calls with my top clients, pretending it was to gauge satisfaction. 3 weeks ago, I overheard her on a call with corporate saying Randy's methods are old school. Clients like him, but they need innovation. I can deliver at half the cost. By half the cost, she meant cutting my team people like Beth, who worked overtime to master Hologate specs, or Tom, learned Mandarin to better support our Shanghai partners. I should have said something. Instead, I focused on the Hologate pitch. It was our biggest of the year, $30 million in biosensor tech. I'd spent 8 months preparing, learning their systems, and speaking their language. Jessica knew about the meeting, but not its substance. She thought presentations were just slides and slogans. She didn't know Hologate CTO hated formal decks or that their procurement lead only trusted someone who could talk specifics. Firing me was her attempt to look bold. But come Friday, when Holligate asked for Randy specifically, she discovered the difference between handling data and building relationships. I couldn't sleep Thursday night, not from worry, but from anticipation. I had found me at 2 a.m. with coffee and my laptop. "You're planning something," she said. "Just thinking." She sat down, knowing this wasn't the moment to push. Jessica had already left 3 voicemails. What did she want? Details about the Holligate pitch. Helen smirked. She knew the work I'd put in, the weekends I'd given up. What did you tell her? Nothing. I don't work there. Anymore? That's when it hit me. Jessica hadn't just fired me. She'd wiped out 15 years of deep knowledge, client quirks, tech details, dynamics built through 100 little gestures. Holligate wasn't about slides. It was about trust. She thought she could fake it. What she didn't realize was that the details they needed existed only in my head, and a notebook no one could access. I checked my calendar. Holligate's meeting was at 10 a.m. By 11. Jessica would be sitting in Marcus's office, explaining why the pitch failed. My phone buzzed. "Beth, Jessica's been in your office all day. She looks panicked," I replied. "Files are on the server. She has access," which was true. She had access to generic data, but the context, that lived with me. I poured coffee and opened a fresh doc. I started writing a resignation letter, but then deleted it. Why make it easy? Instead, I emailed a few contacts in biotech. By morning, I had 3 interviews and 1 offer. Helen found me dressed by 6 a.m. "Where are you off to?" "Downtown cafe, good Wi-Fi? Quiet calls?" "Give 'em hell," she said. "I won't have to. Jessica's doing that for me." At 9:47 a.m., I sat at Brewster's Cafe when my phone rang. Jessica, I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again. By 10:15, 7 missed calls. At 10:23, Beth called. "Randy, where are you? Holligate's here?" Jessica's freaking out. She can't find the technical specs. "They're on the system," I said. She says the folder's empty. "That's because they were never digitized. They're in my notebook. The one I took yesterday." Beth paused. "They're asking for you. CTO wants to go over calibration protocols with you. Wish I could help." At 10:45, Marcus called. "Randy, we need you. There's been a mix-up. I was terminated yesterday. Effective immediately, I believe," Jessica said.
Let's
"Work something out. I'm not your employee. I can't represent Bramali legally. Name your price. I'm not available," which was true. Drift Shade Limited had a 2 p.m. interview lined up. Their VP had called me personally. By 11:30, Holligate walked out. Jessica had failed to deliver, and they were done. She called again at noon. This time, I answered. "Randy, help me. This is sabotage. No, these are consequences. I'll report you for withholding info." I took only personal items. Notebooks I bought myself. Company files stayed on the server. Security called next, asking for the notebooks. Check my contract. Personal notebooks are personal property. At 1:30, Helen called laughing. Casey saw Jessica posting on LinkedIn about new opportunities at Bramali. "Clients are already asking where you went." By 3 p.m., I'd finished my interview with Drift Shade and had my answer to Jessica's sabotage accusation. This wasn't sabotage. It was knowledge walking out the door.